Hello, 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 Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, guys. TransurfingTV here, and one of our Hacking the Technogenic System lessons. I've seen this one a couple of times, and I kind of held myself back from reading it because it really is curious to me, this word transgressia. I've never heard it before. That's the title of this chapter, chapter 16, Transurfing or Transgressia. So I'm going to get into it because this is a lengthy one. It's probably going to take about 20 to 25 minutes to read. Before I do, remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and comment below with questions or comments. Join us on the Facebook group, the International Transurfing Institute Facebook group. Follow me on Instagram and the courses, Reality 2.0, Tufty 2.0, Mo Money, and Becoming Magnetic, all below. So let's jump into it because this is going to be a meaty one. All right, transgressia is a complex Greek word that means crossing from the possible to the impossible. And the other meaning is the flow. I believe that was probably a little side note of Tirza or Mohil. Most of the time, I receive messages about the great joy that transurfing has done its job. However, the messages rarely include specific events or details of what has happened or why the result occurred. This shows us that there is confusion between controlling reality and managing it intentionally, as well as the phenomenon of synchronicity, in which something is called, which then appears in reality in a miraculous way. The first time that you notice an automatic connection between your thoughts and reality, and this took you by surprise, does not mean that transurfing has begun to work. To be more precise, it does work, but now it works automatically and completely independent of your will. The truth is that this is not transurfing, but an out-of-control synchronicity or phenomenon. The best you can do is to watch and be amazed. In order to start directing this process, that is, in order to learn how to manage it for yourself by means of advanced planning, you must reconsider your way of thinking. You must reconnect the scheme that you stored in your head in such a way that you convert from being a passive receiver into an active transmitter. In other words, you turn into a broadcasting system for your intentions. I think that's what I'm doing. The following question might arise. How long should the transmission last? Should it be repeated often? Questions like this are no different from your questions about the number of paddling times required to keep the boat on a steady path. If you let go of the oars, the current of external conditions will control the situation, and you will have nothing to do with the emergence of these external conditions. Also, at this moment, you will notice that your life has become dependent on scenarios and phenomenon that follow another reality, not yours. Your oars will fall into the hands of your roadmates who are more energetic and active than you are. This is reality. Therefore, you must, as a necessity, work without boredom to broadcast the image of your reality to the outside world, either directly or by communicating with others through the smartphone system. Even if you are resting, hiking, reading, or if you watch other people's shows or listen to their programs, your movie or radio broadcast should not stop. It is the face of your world, so decorate it however you like. Whatever is happening in reality, you must be consistent in your position and not become complacent. Remember the words of the song. The sky is orange and the sea is orange. Plants are orange and the camels are orange. Mothers are orange to orange children. Orange songs are performed by an orange orchestra. And you guys are going to have, for example, orange cops, orange employees, orange managers, orange fools, orange roads, orange difficulties, and everything will be orange. Imagine how fun that will be. And no matter how dark and dusky your clouds are, you must always remember that there is a clear blue sky above these clouds, or an orange sky if you like this more. Okay, but this sounds like a simplified juggler's illustration. In principle, whatever information reaches you could be related to your world or to things like this. And if at that time you are on the transmission system, the incoming broadcaster's information will be converted into links, simultaneously launching your intent announcements. When you see other people's pictures, set yourself a goal of capturing their bonds. Then at the same time, you should show your own film. That is, send the intention of your orange world over the air. That's exactly what I'm doing now. I could replace the word orange with transurfing, and this is my reality. The sky is transurfing, the sea is transurfing, plants are transurfing, the camels are transurfing. You know, it's like this has become my everything. I relate it to everything I encounter, and therefore I broadcast this out into the world, creating this exact transurfing reality, if you will. Tell yourself everything they have is gray, and for me, everything is orange. In that world, there are some dilemmas, but there are none in my world. These people live bound in some framework of which I am ignorant. Bright characters create masterpieces, and I can create something too. They are distinguished by splendor, strength, and courage, and I also possess virtues of my own. Move away. I will not allow you to enter my world because it is mine alone. Then exaggerate all incoming information into one common factor that serves your goal achievement. If you have a strong desire to own a home, for example, then you have to constantly broadcast the following program. This is my home and I live in it. And when you see homes in reality, in cinema, or on television, compare them with the house that you want to own. Are there similarities, or is the house you want different? Then immediately draw a picture of your home in your mind. When you see anything that the house may need in advertising programs or in the commercial stores, then choose them for your home. Even if you are only still doing the survey, if you were to see all the corners of the earth, imagine where you would like to live given your choice. Color this whole world in the colors of your dreams. Do this thing very seriously and do not give any attention to that uncle who tells you that it does not happen like this. Just because this has not happened to him does not mean that you will not have what it is that you want. It may seem to some people that staying in this transmission system is nerve-wracking and exhausting, and it may even be an unnecessary and absurd job after all. However, it is self-evident that everything here is related to the existence of a purpose in life and provides the strength of desire to achieve it. As for fatigue, the issue here is a matter of habit, because once it becomes a daily habit, the person gets used to it and doesn't stress about it anymore. You can adapt your thinking to the transmission system, starting with the simplest data. In transurfing, there is a very powerful principle, the principle of intention coordination, which is simple at the same time. We are now reminding you to activate this memory. Let me say something really quickly about what he's saying here, that once you get used to it, it becomes habit. I have a lot of people say, oh my God, you've been doing this so long, a video a day. How do you do that? It has become habit. Now, once it started to really become a habitual habit, then I could add on top of it. I could do more, like right now, and I know I haven't talked about this too openly yet, but I'm writing a book of my own. So at first, when I embarked on just the transurfing journey in general, with the role as I have taken on, I thought to myself, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make videos, man a movement, engage with people, answer questions, and write a book? This is insane. But once you really start and it becomes again habitual in your practice, then it's like you hit that threshold, you hit that pain threshold, and you can simply layer on more and more and more, because once you've grown accustomed to one thing, then it's like you're on automatic. You can add on top of it. But the key is that you have to be consistently forging ahead, and you do have to, in fact, be comfortable and used to whatever habit it is that you're trying to implement into your reality. It's very, very powerful. And again, it's advanced transurfing indeed. If you look positively at an event that you think is negative, then at the same time, everything will be precisely this way. Do not forget that no matter how bad the situation is, there will be a happy surprise of some kind waiting for you in the future, provided that you maintain in this moment the balance of things. Why is it happening this way exactly? Always remember that human life is like any other form of movement of matter. It is a series of causes and effects. In the space of variations, the outcome is always close to its cause, one emerging from the other. The contiguous sectors of space line the path of life. Every event on the path of life has two paths, a path that leads to what is appropriate and a path that leads to what is not appropriate. Each time you encounter this or that event, you have to choose the situation that defines that event. If you see this event as a positive event, then you are on the appropriate life path. The negative bias forces you to express your discontent and choose the inappropriate path. Once something bothers you, a new ugly dilemma comes after. This is what always happens because the problems do not come alone. A sequence of ugly things does not follow the problem itself, but rather the position you take on it. It is the choice that I make while I am at the crossroads of both paths that shapes natural determinism. The principle of intention coordination allows you to always stand in the easy and right path of life. The reader may ask, why do I repeat what he already knows? I repeat it because there is a deep gap between knowledge and action. I am sure that you know the principle of intention coordination for sure, but do you apply it? Right? This is not part of your daily habits. If you would follow the principle, you would not face the great obstacles that you write about so much in your letters. Even though you know and understand everything, you still keep the same habits. You respond to everything negative and interact in a negative way because this is what you are used to, and this is the automatic habit that you practice without awareness, which directs your reality, not your conscious intentions. Jesus Christ, he's laying it down right now, huh? Now we can summarize the rest of this chapter through the following points. There is a perfect example of this confusion that resembles the phenomenon of deja vu. Oh my God, somebody literally just asked this in the group. I can't wait to share this. On the Renaissance of the modern age. The author here talks about transgressia from one life to another and says, on a beautiful morning, the employee in scientific research wakes up in one of the closed institutions in Siberia to find himself in another reality. And in this other reality, he is married to a woman he knows and does not know, and works in a completely different field and knows it and does not know it. This transgressia was feeling a clear and very obvious feeling, as if he was embodied in the same body and at the same time lived two absolutely different lives. This employee knew the location of this secret corporation very accurately, so he went to Serbia but found nothing at that specific place. Carlos Castaneda also speaks of a similar situation when he jumped to the bottom of a gap and then woke up to find himself in the apartment that he lives in New York. In fact, what happened is something like an agglutination. In principle, he should have been smashed, but in fact, he jumped from one reality to another and found himself alive on the other path. I do not take responsibility and I do not judge if what is stated in these books is true or not true. In life, there are quite a bit of amazing evidence of movement through time and space. Reality always eludes and does not give accurate answers about whether it happened or not, or how and why. There is one thing with no doubt about its validity. Transgressia as a transition between certain paths in life, whether near or far, is in fact what is happening here. It always happens to us every time we make a decision when we are at the crossroads of a path. 2, so I guess that was 1. In my own life, something similar has happened. This is a story from distant memories. Did you forget your gloves at my place? Or more precisely, did you forget them, or did you leave the gloves on purpose in order to come back again? I have a strange feeling that something similar happened between us, but I am not sure if this thing happened in a dream or in waking life. The day before a small chance had happened in my house, our fun group got together. I remembered that me and you went out to the balcony to smoke, and there was no one there but us. Suddenly, without introduction, we started kissing each other with passion, but what a shame. I drank so much that night, and the next day I was unable to discern between reality and a dream. Oh, that sounds pretty hot, Vadim. When we met, I looked at you with a stranger's look, and at the same time, I could not determine based on your behavior if anything did happen between us or not. Or was it a product of my imagination? That is why I asked you, do you know if you forgot your gloves at my place? Maybe, she answered, and looked at me with a look that seemed strange to me. I do not understand anything, and I cannot say it honestly, because for the first time I did not understand anything, and you also do not say anything. Something might or might not have happened. What a dilemma. I shouldn't drink so much next time. When the effect of drunkenness has gone and I woke up completely, another scene, to another scene, a raw scene this time, jumped into my memory. We are now in the hallway kissing again, and we are both crazy and wild. And you, who is usually calm and balanced, take off your shoes while you get wild and try to rip my shirt. Damn, Vadim, what are you talking about here? Oh my God. I feel like I'm reading like I'm in another reality and I'm reading a Vadim Zeland romance novel or something. I don't remember anything after that. And again, I fall into the void. It is a dilemma. Did this thing happen or not? Absolutely not. And I should drink less. 2 days have passed and you haven't come to pick up your gloves. Does this mean that you forgot them and did not leave the gloves on purpose, and that it all happened in a dream? It's stupid in a sense. So what? You have your reality and I have another. I never thought about this, nor did I think about the sin of cheating. So why? I'm going on a mission, and there I'm going to dive into various problems. The deja vu retreats to the back seat. Back home, your gloves have disappeared and are not present in my house. It's over and everything turns out. It's clear now that this is a closed vortex. Only now I do understand how this could happen. Transgressia occurred on the path that leads to something that had actually happened, while a sequel occurred on the other track in which nothing had happened, neither before nor after. The agglutination happened at the intersection. If somebody wants to comment below what that word means, agglutination, and maybe give us a little bit of insight on that. The agglutination happened at the intersection, and the moment I ran away, it was like nothing ever happened, but I was not able to catch reality in the act. I didn't know where the gloves were hidden or how. What can I say here? Why am I saying all of this? Deja vu is a phenomenon that does not yield and occurs like an unrealized dream. As long as we make critical decisions at the crossroads unconsciously, as if we are in a state of delirium, and in the same stupid way interacting with small things and the troubles of daily life, our condition will remain like an incontinent transgressia, and thus it will be separate and put on paths of failure in life. But if we become accustomed to adhering to the principle of intention coordination in every event and every situation, then our lives will start to catch the wave of success. And at that very moment, this will be transurfing, not transgressia. Okay, so do you get what he's saying here? Essentially, he's saying that the intention coordination, or the advantage method, or the inversion technique, it's once you stop challenging your reality if things are going in the right direction or not, or something plays out that you question, like, okay, what does this mean? Like, let's say something negative plays out in your reality against your intentions. If you're still in a position of questioning it and challenging it and wondering what it means and what direction it's going to take you in, then this is transgressia. This isn't transurfing. Once you have adopted, everything's working out to your favor, my world's taking care of me, everything's going according to plan, all that kind of stuff, then you're merging with that version of reality where you are encountering the wave of success. Everything is working out exactly to your intentions. And rather than your little boat just getting tossed around by the waves, which is transgressia, you're transurfing your reality instead. 3, the beauty of the intention coordination principle is that it actually fixes the warp in a perfect way, and it's time you no longer need to work on decorating your world. For example, you want everything to be fine and as it should be, but you do not know how everything would be fine and how it should be. Well, no problem. You don't have to get a headache for this. When you see that something is not going the way you want it to, you simply have to go back to being alert and consciously turn the dilemma into satisfaction. You should have your own way of responding to such situations. You know, it's actually kind of funny. One of the things that comes to mind when I read this is the publisher of Transurfing, the owner of the publishing house, Peter Levowsky. When I first met this person in Russia, he came into the apartment that I was staying and I offered him a cup of tea. And when I went to take the cup out of the cupboard, it fell on the ground and it shattered in front of us. And I was super embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, this guy's gonna think I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I'm just clumsy. And I went into this mode where I was embarrassed and I didn't feel I was putting my best forward. And he just started laughing and he said, oh, how wonderful that you dropped this cup. Isn't that delightful? Isn't that entertaining? And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? And I realize now that he was doing exactly what Vadim's talking about here. You should have your own way of responding to such situations, deviating from the script, right? Mine was typical and it merged me with that version of reality where I was thinking of myself in a lower regard, whereas he was staying tuned in to exactly what his intentions were. He was transurfing and I really was not. 4, okay, let's see which one of the happy events comes next. Oh, how happy I am, and a pleasant surprise awaits. We will see. Oh, success, really. A happy event has happened. The joy I got, what wonderful coincidence made these circumstances all intersect. What a golden opportunity. Yes, it is my luck. It is my world that kept me away from all dilemmas and big ones. Oh, happiness. If everything is fine, I await gifts and congratulations. Again, exactly like I was just talking about. You have to launch false shouts of joy, which are all between you and yourself, or in an audible voice. There is no difference here. Every time you find yourself in trouble, no matter how small, or when something collapses the scenario that you set in some way, oh my God, this is exactly what I was talking about. Learn to rejoice in bad weather, long lines, obstacles before you, obstacles that come your way, and anything negative. Masochism like this generally cleanses the sky of your world. You just have to think about the benefit you can derive from this or that state of depression. This is what will happen. You will be sure of one thing, and you will see it for yourself more than once. In the beginning, you just have to make some effort to turn the intention coordination principle into a habit and partner of the ego. In time, everything will be as it should be. It is only a matter of willpower. When you achieve this, you become the first to take the road to switching from a receiver to a transmitter. Okay, this is awesome. 5, do not confuse the premeditated and precognitive control of reality with the phenomenon of synchronicity. 6, if an automatic connection develops between your thoughts and reality, it does not mean that transurfing is not working. 7, in order to start controlling this process, you have to consider your way of thinking so that the passive receiver turns into an active broadcaster, which moves to the work of the system transmitting your intentions. 8, you have to always work without getting bored to broadcast your reality image to the outside world directly or via the smartphone system. 9, no matter how dark the clouds are, you should always remember that there is a clear blue sky above them. 10, when you watch other people's shows, get a goal for yourself to capture their bonds, and then at the same time show your own movie, your intention, or the picture of your orange world. 11, gather all information included in one framework that will serve your goal. 12, you can readapt your mindset to the transmission system, starting with the principle of intention coordination. 13, if you look positively at an event you might think is negative, then everything will be according to how you looked at it. 14, transgressia is always taking place, and every time we make a decision, we are at a crossroads. 15, get into the habit of enjoying the bad weather, the long lines, the obstacles you face, the difficulties that come your way, and everything negative. So that's it. He gives some information. I'll include it in the description below. Thank you, Mohil, Bashir, Teodora, Tirza, Abdikafor, and his team. This was a ton of information. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Wow, we're really getting into some of the good stuff now. But comments, questions below, and have a good day, y'all. Bye.